Let's talk the club. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk the club. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler Virtual Book Club, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube platform, and the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube channel, where we spend these 1800 seconds together every Tuesday. Nothing new, nothing different. We spend these moments together, these 1800 seconds together, and we chit-chat about a few things. And if somebody's stopping by for the very first time or catching the replay and they wonder, what are those things that you talk about? Hang on, this is what we talk about. We talk about things that are inspirational, things that are motivational, and things that challenge us to be the best version of ourselves, even in the worst of situations. So as life is happening, as life is doing what it does, as life is presenting us with situations, circumstances, and pit holes and potholes and hurdles and all of those sorts of things, we strive to be the best version of ourselves. We strive to be the best we can be, even in the worst of situations. Because guess what? If you can be the best version of yourself in the worst of situations, you've got the other situations taken care of. So when you get to your worst point and you can still be your best, you're good to go for all those other days, all those other moments, all those other hours and seconds and weeks and months and years. You are good. If you can prove to yourself, I'm my best self in the worst of situations, just let that marinate. Let that sink in for a moment. Learn how to be your best self when life is not treating you the best way you want it to treat you, right? So those are the times when you hang in there, you just keep on doing what you do, and you trust your ability to be who you are. You trust your ability to be true to your character. You trust your ability to be true to your integrity. You trust your ability to be true to your intestinal fortitude. I'm going to be uniquely and truly who I'm called to be, who I'm designed to be, no matter how things look. That's just my resolve. Cutler, calm down. You sound like you're upset. I'm really not upset. I have such a conviction for being the best version of me, and that ever evolving, growing me. That's who I am. So if I can face a situation next year better than I did this year, that's my goal. That's my heart's desire. So again, if you're stopping by for the first time and you're wondering, what is this guy you're talking about? That's all we're talking about. We're talking about trying to inspire each other, trying to motivate each other to be best. People say, oh, they won't let me be great. But that's what we chit chat really about. We chit chat about how to be great, how to be a better than we were. As life moves, so are we. And I've often said we are on this journey to this place that's called better. And it comes from, oh my goodness, I need to restock my books, because how about I don't even have a copy of my last book. I was looking for Billboards to Better, your 366 days of motivation and inspirational sayings. But anyway, it's about making sure that we march toward this place. And this place where we're marching is not necessarily a physical place, but it is this state of being where I'm striving to become better. Each and every day of my life, I'm striving to become better, not for anybody else, not for any pats on my back or pats on my shoulders, or for anybody to applaud me and say, good job. But no, just so that I can look in the mirror myself and have no regrets about having lived the way that I live, having tried to do the things that I tried to do. I am on my way to a space called better, just for me. Not that I'm in a race with anybody else, because the only person that I'm in a race with, guess what, is me, myself, and I. So it is so good to see you all. I know some of you all were on reprieve for a while. You were missing in action. You were on a little vacation, but it's good to see all of you all, particularly after we've come back through the holidays and what have you. So glad. It's so good to see everybody. So thank you all for being in my corner. Thank you for being in this cohort with us where we just chit chat and we spend these moments together. Let me just shout out the LTTC VIPs in just a moment. But I will say to those of you, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And after you subscribe, do me another favor, move one step further and click on the notification button. I don't know where it is on your device, but you can find it, whether it's down there, or over there. Just click on the device. My eyes tend to move the opposite directions because my hands are moving one way and my the screen, I think the screen is backwards. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's just it would be great to have you all join and then click on that notification bell, because it lets you know whenever I've gone live, like I am now. Ooh, ow, I'm alive. Dumb. Cutler, where did that come from? That was corny. I know it. I may have some more corny jokes for you all. But you all, I want to talk about walking through the day with gratitude. I know we just came through the Thanksgiving holiday and the Thanksgiving season, but I just want to do a practical walkthrough and model what gratefulness can look like. I'm always talking about being in a space of gratefulness, being in a space of mindfulness, mindful of everything that you're doing, everything that's happening. And as you're in that space, you can practice gratitude and and I often talk about that, but I want to talk about what practicing gratitude looks like. In conversations I frequently have with people, I'll say to them, so what does that look like? I remember growing up in the academic arena, and people would teach something, and if they taught theories or things that were theoretical that I just couldn't necessarily put my hand on, I always wanted to know, what should I expect to see in practicality? You're teaching me this theory, but what does that look like? What can I perceive with my eyes and ears? What is it that I can expect to experience based on what we've talked about? So as I've gotten older, that's one of the things that I like to do in my own conversations. I like to model and show and demonstrate what a thing, or particularly a theory, looks like, so that people won't walk away from a conversation with me saying, oh, that was a good sounding conversation, but I have no idea what he was talking about. Or that was a great sounding conversation, but I have no idea what that looks like in reality. So that's something that I want to do today, because I'm always talking about be grateful, be thankful, show gratitude. So I want to talk about what that looks like. So I just want to walk through a day of gratitude. Nothing really profound or deep, but just walking through a day to show you that there are some things that you've experienced. There are some things that happen to you along this 24-hour course. There are some encounters that you had that if you really stopped for just a moment, you would say, oh no, I am grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. So I just want to give us sometimes we walk through life and we miss things. And as we miss those things, those are key things that if we paid a little more attention to them, they really could change the trajectory of our days. So I want to talk about my day of gratitude, hoping to spark some things in your memory to say, aha, oh yeah, you know what, if I would have paid a little more attention to that, I probably would have expressed a moment of gratitude as well. All right, let me shout out the LTTC VIPs for just a moment to say thank you all. Those are the first three people that I see on my end who've come to the chat. And they are Annie Cutler, who says, let's ride. And then there's Linda Martin. We missed you. She says, good evening, I'm back. So good to have you back. We missed you while you were away. And then there is our friend Marissa, who says, hi, everyone. Well, hello to you too. And so good to see the rest of you all. Thank you all for being here. But let's talk about a day of gratitude. How often, you all, do you go through the day and you really miss moments of gratitude? You've often heard me say that one of my favorite movies is The Color Purple. And one of my favorite quotes or segments from The Color Purple is when the two ladies, it was Celie and Shug Avery, and they were walking through the field of flowers, and this is where the name of the movie comes from, The Color Purple. So they were walking through a field of flowers. It was Celie and Shug Avery, and one of them said, it must piss God off how you can walk past the color purple and not even notice it. I think a lot of people miss the line, particularly the line from the movie, because it may not have resonated. But what the character was saying was, how can we walk past the beauty of the day? How can we walk past the magic of the moment? How can we walk past the power of a second, or the strength of an interval, and the awe of an hour, and not notice it? How can we have so many potentially powerful experiences, and we walk right past them and we don't even notice them? How dare we walk past those moments and we not express gratitude? And how dare we walk past those moments and we not extend a moment of thankfulness? How dare we walk past those moments and act as if they were just common moments? They were moments to which we were entitled. How dare we do that? And so I want us to just put the brakes and just walk through a moment, walk through a day of gratitude. I just want to help you for just one moment. And maybe you say, well, Cutler, that's just not me. I really don't want to, to delve into that. But I want to show us that there are things for which we can and should be thankful. And when you practice thankfulness and gratefulness, it puts you in a different headspace. And so let's just walk through the day, you all, and tell me if any of these things resonate with you. They certainly resonate with me. That's why I took a moment to just write them down, to just jot them down. And you might, this list may not even be for you. You may have your own list. And so I would encourage you to create your own list as you walk through the day. Now, I'm just going to walk through this one with you and share some of the things for which I noticed and I experienced gratitude, and I express gratitude. Maybe, and I challenge you, as you're walking through another day to come this week, perhaps you can do the same thing. Maybe try to get up to a list of maybe 10, 12, 15 things that you're just thankful for as you walk through the day. One of the things, and so I was trying to be very intentional about today, trying to be very intentional, excuse me, there was a little bit of light precipitation yesterday, sleet and snow, and so as I woke up this morning, I didn't hear the birds like I usually do, and I missed that sound, and it made me realize how grateful I am for the gentle sound of what's going on outside of my bedroom window. I just want us to see a moment of gratitude for things that we take for granted. Many times when we wake up, the first sense of our five senses that we operate, or that we execute, or that we utilize, it's not necessarily our eyes, because there are times when we wake up and we don't necessarily open our eyes, but we may lay there for just a moment. We may lie there for just a moment. As we're lying there, we listen and we hear. And I missed the sound of the birds, but I realized that there was a gentle sound outside of my bedroom window, and I was so thankful for that. I was grateful for the sound of the morning, whatever that sounds like for you. Practice gratitude. Be grateful for the sound of the morning. Maybe you just want to write these down. Maybe you want to share this with somebody else. Say, listen, let's walk through the day and talk about the things that we're grateful for. And as I was grateful for the sound of the morning, guess what? While still lying there, I was also grateful for a comfortable night's sleep. I was so thankful for a comfortable night's sleep, you all, because I can confess, this morning I didn't have any meetings, so I slept a little longer, and I was comfortable for a good night's rest. You got to be thankful for it. Think about, as you walk through the day, the things that you're thankful for. Come on, go on this journey with me. Go back to the early rising of your morning and tell me some of the things for which you are thankful. For me, it was the sound of what's going on outside of my window. The next thing, it was for a good night's sleep. And then as I got up to go and brush my teeth and take a shower and all of those sorts of things, I was thankful. I was thankful for having clean water, running water. Water to shower, water to brush my teeth. I was just thankful for that. Cutler, why is that a big deal? Because everybody does not have it. I grew up in a house where we didn't have running water initially. And so I'm thankful for those things. You grew up like that? Absolutely, I sure did. So I'm thankful for those things. Those are things that I don't take for granted. As my family gathered over the Thanksgiving holiday, we reminisced and we talked about those things, and we stopped and we gave thanks for where we are today. We didn't despise our journey. No, we didn't do that, because our journey made us who we are today. And who we are today, we are thankful people. I'm thankful, and I don't take for granted that the fact that I have clean running water in my home. Last year, I did a marathon, a walkathon, for people in another country who don't have clean running water, clean drinking water, and they have to walk miles. I'm thankful. I was thankful. And then after that, I was able to go into my kitchen and have breakfast. Able to go into my own kitchen and have breakfast. For that, I was thankful. I'm just walking you all along this thankful journey. And I just hope somewhere along this journey, I just don't get caught up in gratitude, but I'm thankful. And I want us to practice gratitude and to practice thankfulness, because if we practice gratitude and we practice thankfulness, then a whole lot of other dumb stuff will not take priority in our lives. And we won't give it the attention that it does not deserve in the first place. But instead of focusing on things and stuff where people sometimes try to present you a different agenda, you will focus on the reasons to be thankful. As you go through this holiday, you'll focus on the reasons to be thankful. I don't worry about not having millions of dollars so I can buy things and more things and exchange gifts. No, that would be wonderful. And I'm not despising that, not knocking it. I'm just talking about me and my journey. There are things for which I am grateful, and those are not necessarily tangible things. And some of the things that are tangible may not be big priorities or big picture items for some people, but they are big for me. The ability to go into my kitchen and have a variety of foods from which I can select and choose to have breakfast, I was thankful for that. So very thankful. So that I'm not in starvation. That I can eat things to nourish my body and take care of me. Just thankful. And then because there was, the snow that was still out there, this was a great morning for a nice warm cup of tea. I was thankful for that. Nice warm cup of tea. The smell of the tea, the aroma, the temperature, the flavor, the taste of it. I was mindful of that moment, and I was thankful just to have a cup of comfort in that moment. You need to walk through the day practicing and writing down things that you're thankful about. And then I stopped and said, this is taking place inside my home. I woke up inside my home. I brushed my teeth and showered inside my home. I had breakfast inside my home. I had a warm cup of coffee inside my home. And so in that moment, I practiced gratitude, thankful to have a roof over my head. People don't talk like this anymore. But just to have a roof over my head and a safe place that I could call home, I'm thankful, I'm grateful. It may not be a mansion like some other people, but guess what? I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And these are things that we learn to practice thankfulness for. We learn to practice gratefulness. And so if we are mindful of these moments, guess what? Then these moments will be mindful of us. Cutler, what do you mean by saying that? I say that because when you are mindful of a moment, then you notice more as they occur. I'm just walking through the day, and I encourage you, as you walk through the day, grab you a piece of paper, grab you a post-it, grab something to write things down. And by the time you get through the day, you have a whole journal of things for which you are grateful, things that you have given thanks for. I challenge us. I said we sometimes talk about things that are inspirational. Sometimes we talk about things that are motivational, but we also talk about things that sometimes challenge us to be better tomorrow than we were today. And so I challenge you to be more grateful tomorrow than you were today. Cutler, how do I do that? Make notes of what we're talking about today. What's going on outside of my window? I heard it this morning. I'm grateful for those sounds. The comfort of resting and having a good night's sleep. I'm thankful for those things. The fact that I have clean running water that I can shower, drink, eat. I'm grateful for those things. The fact that I could walk into my kitchen and have options for breakfast, things to nourish my body. I'm grateful for those things. The fact that I could have just a comfort in a cup, whether it was soup or coffee or tea. For me, it was tea. I'm grateful for that. The fact that I have a roof over my head, a safe place that I can call home. I'm grateful for that. The ability to put on clothes, to sometimes pick, choose, and refuse and put on clothes. I'm grateful for that. I'm just talking about you are walking through a day, not missing the moment, but not as you're not missing the moment, you're mindful of every moment and you're grateful. I call this a grateful day, a journey through a grateful day. To pick up the phone and then to check in with relatives and loved ones and to hear that they are okay and to hear the laughter in their voice of family and friends. I'm grateful for that. And then check this out. Even to pick up the technology, I was grateful for that. 2025, you still grateful for technology, Cutler? Absolutely, yes, I am. The means to communicate with family and friends and the people who matter to me, I'm grateful for that. So grateful. And then as I opened the drapes and I looked outside, and what I saw was just a beautiful sky, just a beautifully colored sky. I was grateful for that. Just grateful for nature, grateful for God's creation, grateful to be a part of the creation, grateful to have a role in this thing that's called humanity. And then this evening, I have a beautiful view of the sunset. Every day I have a beautiful view of the sunset. Just grateful for the way the sky is colored throughout the day, the artistry that I get to see and behold in the sky. Grateful for that. Thankful. And then I'll tell you all this. Yes, I've decorated for the holidays. And then when I turned on the lights, there were people who I walked out on the porch, and there was one person, I don't know if it was one person or family, but a vehicle had just stopped by, just drove, and I turned on the lights, and they just stopped and just honked the horn, and just the kindness of strangers. I took the honking of the horn as an appreciation for the decorations that I had. Sometimes it's just the kindness of strangers. I was thankful for that. I'm talking about walking through the day. Walking through the day. Are you practicing gratefulness as you walk through the day? I challenge us. Being happy with who you are, being happy with what you have, being happy with what you experience, the ability to move your body, whether sometimes you're in a little strain, stress, or pain, but the ability to move. Be grateful for that, you all. There's some people who cannot move at all. Having your senses, the ability to touch and to taste and to hear and to smell, all of those things. Be grateful. It helps you when you live in the moment, you are grateful. There were some things, some chores that I put on a post, that I won't show you that particular chore, but I always have pieces of paper. So I made a list of things that I needed to do. And so as I was making a list of things that I needed to do, and I was checking off some of those things, I was grateful that I was able to complete some of the tasks that I wanted to complete today. You have to find a way to be thankful. Sometimes we're so humdrum and everybody did me wrong, and you find a reason to be low key and to be down and out. But I challenge you to find a reason to be thankful and to be grateful and to be upbeat and optimistic. I challenge you. Go through tomorrow and find more reasons to be thankful tomorrow than you did today. I challenge you. The satisfaction of saying, you know what, I could check this off my list because I got it done. I'm grateful that I got it done. And somewhere in the midst of all of that busyness, I was able to just pause and count my blessings. I'm thankful for quiet moments when I can stop and reflect. That doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but the ability to stop and exhale in the middle of the day and reflect and to be grateful, I'm thankful for some of those moments. where I can spend just in quiet reflection and solitude in a moment of peace. Just before we had this broadcast, I received a call from a cousin who's near and dear to my heart. And just to hear her voice and to hear her laughter and to be able to hear from family and friends who just want to check on you and who are concerned about your well-being, I'm grateful for that. There are people who don't have family members and friends to check on them at all. And not only do they live in solitude, but they live in loneliness and they live in isolation. But you ought to be thankful if you have family and friends and people who care about you and check on you to make sure that you are living in a space of well-being. I'm just talking about walking through the day, not missing the moments, making sure that you practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. From time to time, you all know, some of you know about my journey where I broke my foot and then I had to have 2 subsequent ankle surgeries. From time to time, I still have a little pain with that, and so I went to my bathroom, took a few pills to help with the pain. Only 2. I took a couple pills to help with the pain, and guess what, y'all? Even in that moment, I said, you know what? I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have access to medicine and to healthcare. Not that that was a big health issue, but I mean, when it was broken, I had to have surgery. Yeah, that was big. So I was thankful I had healthcare. But even now, you all, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have access to healthcare, and in particular to today, to just alleviate a little of the pain down in the ankle. I was just thankful that I had medicine to help me deal with the pain. We all know what's going on in the world of healthcare. That was one of the primary reasons for the government shutdown. The argument over healthcare, affordable healthcare, and what it was going to be called. I'm grateful for having healthcare. I'm grateful for being able to have decent health. There's something about the simple pleasures of life that we take for granted. And I want to call our attention to those moments that we take for granted. Those moments matter. In fact, the moment to have the moment, just the simple pleasure of an uninterrupted breath of air. I can breathe and there's nothing interrupting this moment. You ought to be thankful, you all. And I'm not fussing with you all, but I'm encouraging you all to find these moments that we just don't ignore and share this sentiment of this message with other people who would go throughout the holiday and find a reason to lament so many things. But before you lament to me, I'm going to rejoice with you. Before you lament to me, I am going to rejoice with you. And before you can point out 5 reasons to be sad, I'm going to point out 15 reasons to be glad. That ought to be somebody's mantra. Let's help people get through these holidays and not find themselves into sulking into low and falling to low self-esteem and falling into depression. Before they give you 5 reasons to lament and to be sad, you ought to be able to give them 10 to 15 reasons to rejoice and be glad. Did you just take an uninterrupted breath of air? Well, you ought to be grateful. Did you wake up in a bed this morning? Well, then you ought to be grateful. Did you have clean running water in your? You ought to be grateful. Was the temperature warm and conducive to your ability to function inside? You ought to be grateful. Do you have people in your corner who support you and push you and lift you? Then you ought to be grateful. I'm not talking about a bunch of things. But just the chance, I've got to get out of here, you all, but just the chance to experience another day in all of its potential, possibly powerful moments. I'm grateful for that. As I get ready to recline for the evening, I'm grateful for moments when I can just decline and debrief and sit in solitude and reflect. I'm grateful. I just wanted to walk through a day of gratitude with us all so that we stop taking these moments for granted. I dare say the moments that we take for granted are the moments that really matter. We act sometimes as if we are entitled to these moments. No, you're not. Excuse me. No, we're not. We are not entitled to these moments. But it is something that is called grace. Something. that is called grace. That reminds us, practice gratitude. Let me get out of here, y'all. Let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep building community, maintaining connectivity. Let's keep our heads up, our hopes up. Make sure that you stay safe, stay sane. Know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. I want us, until the next time we talk and we tell somebody, come on, let's talk to Cutler. I want us to be intentional about practicing gratitude. Thank you, Linda. I'm grateful for Let's Talk. Bless your heart. Have a grateful week, everybody. Until the next time I see you, don't forget to tell somebody, be grateful and come on. Let's talk to Cutler. Good night, everybody.